Merhabalar herkese. Hepiniz IEFTalks Webinarları'na hoş geldiniz. Bugün University of Kent'te lisans ve yüksek lisans programlarını Emma ve Olcay Bey'den dinliyor olacağız. Lütfen sorularınızı soru cevap bölümünden yönlendirmeyi unutmayın. Yes, Emma, the stage is yours now. You're muted, Emma.
There we go. Thank you very much, Zeynep. And I was about to say good evening. It's good evening your time and good afternoon my time. And thank you very much for coming along today. So my name is Emma and I'm the Senior International Officer for Turkey at the University of Kent. And I've been at Kent now for over 5 years, which is crazy how quickly that's gone. But my main role is to support students like yourselves who want to come and study at the University of Kent, and I'm here to support and guide you through that process. And today's session, we're going to be very much focusing on what Kent has to offer in terms of study opportunities, but I really want to spend a little bit of time focusing on one of the main aspects of choosing Kent. It's all about inspiring your global ambition and helping you to succeed in whatever career that you want to do. And joining me today is my friend and colleague, Olcay.
Hello, everyone. My name is Olcay, and thank you, Emma, for inviting me. I'm one of alumni of the University of Kent, and I'm a founder of my Education Study Abroad company, and I'll be happy to supply my experience from the University of Kent as well. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you. So without further ado, what I'm going to do, I'm going to sort of talk you through a brief introduction about the University of Kent. Let me see if this works. Screen. Yes, perfect. So for those of you who are not familiar with the University of Kent, you've joined the right session because I'm here to tell you a little bit about our university and why we are definitely the right choice for you in terms of your study options abroad. So we were established in 1965. So we've been going around for a good few years now. It's actually coming up to our centenary anniversary, which is very exciting. We're very much looking forward to celebrating that very, very notable achievement. In terms of our UK ranking, we're a top 40 UK university, which is a really prominent position within the UK ranking systems, but also more importantly, several of our subject areas feature in the top 20 of the top 10 of their respective topics. So programs like our business programs, law, psychology, forensic science, all of these programs are all featured very highly in their subject ranking. So they're definitely a good choice to have a look at. One of the really interesting things about the University of Kent is that we are actually a research-led university. And what that means is that all of the academics and the lecturers and the professors who work at the University of Kent are not just academics in their own right. They're also involved with research, professional research in their respective areas of expertise. So for many students who are studying at Kent, you get to obviously enjoy their academic experience, but also learn from their current research that's going on at the moment in their respective area. And for a lot of subjects, the research that's going on outside of academia underpins the academic subjects that we offer at the University of Kent. So for subjects such as biosciences, astrophysics, for example, you're getting kind of the historical information, but also the most up-to-date and current information of that respective course as well. And one of the other really fun facts about Kent is that we are an international university. So last year we had around 150 different nationalities across our 16,000 students that studied with us last September. So it's a really multicultural and a widespread of countries that are represented within our student body. And it's not just the students that come with that international perspective. Nearly 40% of our academic staff are from outside of the UK. And for many students, particularly international students, you're going to somewhere where you'll learn about the course that you're doing, you'll learn about the situation in the UK, but also it has that global perspective because it's good to have that kind of like international kind of perspective and aspects of when you are studying whatever course you're looking to do at Kent. And one of the other really great things, fun things, is that we actually have 2 campuses in the UK. And hopefully some of you who are watching today has visited the UK before. If you haven't, don't worry. This little map shows you exactly where we are in the country. So if you look at the bigger image, so this is a zoomed up image of the southeast corner of the UK. And that little area is called a county, and this is actually the county of Kent. So the UK is divided up by counties, and Kent itself is known as the Garden of England. And it's known for that for many reasons. I think one of the main kind of aspects is a very kind of picturesque landscape, lots of kind of rugged imageries that I'm sure you've seen from many different kind of books and films and TV of what you think the UK looks like. That's exactly what you will see in the Kent area. One of the benefits of choosing the University of Kent is very much kind of the benefits of its location. So you can see both our Canterbury and our Medway campuses are within a stone's throw from London. So Canterbury, which is our largest campus, is exactly 1 hour from central London on the train. And Medway, which you can see in the middle there, is just even closer. It's just 40 minutes from London on the train. So that's one of the benefits that for many students, particularly from Turkey, they always say to me every year that we love coming to Kent because you're on London's doorstep, you have all of the attractions that London offers, but you also offer a different kind of study experience to maybe what some of you are used to or you're going through at the moment. Because we're not located in a big city, you have a campus environment, which is a massive advantage for lots of different reasons, which we'll come on to a bit later. A couple of kind of the key facts about the two campuses. So Canterbury, as I said, is the largest one. It's set within kind of 300 acres of a mixture of kind of buildings, but also more importantly, stunning parkland with views over the historical city of Canterbury. Hopefully some of you have heard of Canterbury. So it is the home of the Canterbury Cathedral, which is a World UNESCO Heritage Site. It receives thousands of tourists each year who come along and enjoy not just the cathedral, but all of the trappings that the city offers. And the good thing about the Canterbury campus, it is on the outskirts of the city. So you have the views, but also you get the benefit of being close to the city. A lot of students work while they're studying, as well as enjoy the other facilities around that's in the local area. Medway is a slightly smaller campus, so you can see it's kind of closer to London, but it's actually in a very historical part of Kent. So the actual campus itself is built on a formal naval area. So a lot of the buildings within the Medway campus are formal naval buildings. So it has a really kind of strong historical feel throughout the campus itself. It is slightly smaller than the Canterbury campus, but it's no less, it still offers you exactly the same facilities that you would find on the Canterbury campus, both in terms of the academic facilities, but also accommodation, access to things like sports centres, gyms, and all the clubs and societies, restaurants, cafes, bars, there's nightclubs and things like this, all you'll find on both of those campuses. So it's a really great place to obviously work hard, study hard, but also socialise as well, enjoy all the trappings of being a student in the UK. Audrey, when you were on Canterbury campus, what were the main kind of benefits you think of being an international student studying at the Canterbury campus?
Yeah, I would say when I was in Canterbury actually, and the reason why I would choose the University of Kent, I will say it was one of the reasons. I would say the location, and just 1 hour to London is fantastic, I would say. And in terms of the campus environment, I would say it's one of the best universities campus, I think, in the UK. And that's why I would say the Canterbury is fantastic location. And also it's very small but pretty place. It's very nice. And also it has more universities and also not only University of Kent, but also other universities located in Canterbury. That's why I would say that this location has also many students from other universities as well. And I would say many facilities and many student clubs on campus. That's why you can facilitate everything at the University of Kent on a Canterbury campus. And compared to other campus, I don't want to give more experiences, but since I lived in Canterbury, I would say it's fantastic. And also it's very historical place, Canterbury. That's why in the summer or other seasons, you can see many tourists, and that's why I would say it's fantastic experience, not only from the local people, but also you can meet with other foreign people as well from all over the world, and that's why you can maximize your all experiences, I would say, from Canterbury.
And during your time there, did you have time to explore kind of the Kent area? Did you explore London? I'm guessing that's one of the benefits of Canterbury. You have easy access to lots of different parts of the UK.
Yeah, absolutely. When I was doing my master's degree, I had the chance to go to other countries as well, from Canterbury to European countries. And if I'm not mistaken, and from Folkestone to European countries, it has to train, and that's why you can go to easily to other countries, to Netherlands, France, and other countries, Belgium, and that's why it's very a great location to maximize your experiences in other countries. And I visited almost 10 different countries in 1 year. It was fantastic, from London to other cities in the UK and also other countries. You can find cheaper options from flights, and that's why I went to many different countries as well as the different cities in the UK. And you can use bus, a train, and other channels. And I can see that I visited maybe all cities in the UK, and I know UK more than Turkey, I would say, in terms of the different states. That's why it was fantastic. And also you can see that, for example, from London to Oxford or Cambridge is only 1 hour. That's why from Canterbury to different cities, you can easily go there in 1 hour or 2 hours. And in Kent region is fantastic. And as you mentioned, Emma, and Canterbury, and the Kent region is called the Garden of England. That's why I really like the green places. That's why I maximize my experiences in example, Dover or the Whitstable and different Kent regions. That's why I would suggest the students to see the different environments in Kent region, because it's historical and also the very green place, but also very peaceful place. And also, I will say the very secure place. And compared to other cities, I would say I really like the small cities like Canterbury. That's why it's very pretty place. But also, I went to many different places when I was a student. And for example, like Liverpool, Manchester, and also I went to Scotland, Edinburgh, Glasgow, and Brighton, and many different cities. And that's why I would say that it's very convenient location for Canterbury.
Mm-hmm. And one of the key things that I always, when I'm talking to students, particularly from Turkey, one of the things I always emphasize about Kent as a whole is because we're a campus university. As an international student, it brings a lot of advantages to choosing a campus university. And I guess, I mean, I visited many universities in Turkey, in Istanbul and Ankara, for example, and a lot of them are either like city-based, where it's a different kind of setup and a different kind of experience. So what would you say were the benefits of studying at a campus university?
Yeah, it's a very good question. And I can give this question's answer is, I would say many students, they look for campus environment from Turkey. And actually in Istanbul, Izmir, and Ankara, and many big cities, generally, we have not more campus environment, much more buildings from universities. That's why we have a bit problem to get atmosphere on campus. That's why I would say that I would suggest students to have a study on campus environment, and you can meet with many students in one campus, and also you can, for example, register many different society clubs, and you can attend the events. And that's why it's very important, not only getting lessons, but also you can get many different experiences from different cultures. And also I met with many countries, people, I will say, for example, from Eastern countries, African countries, and many different environments and also cultures. That's why you can not only get your experiences from your culture or from other countries, but also you can feel the real atmosphere from different countries. For example, when I was a student, I maybe met over the maybe 50 different nationalities. I would say in my list, for example, when I want to call any people, I can see that 50 different nationalities from my list and for my friends. That's why it's very important to feel the real atmosphere. And I would say that it's very green atmosphere at the University of Kent campus is very important, and tutors are very supportive. This is very important. For example, I went to University of Kent before my master's. I improved my English level through pre-section course. Is, I think, very important for students as well, and they can get some type of test before the master's or undergraduate levels, and they can see and they can get the benefits, how they can write essays, for example, how they can improve their English levels. That's why it's very important to be on campus, and they can, after they finish their classes, and they can be motivated from tutors as well as their friends. And for example, in terms of having projects from tutors, and they need to finish their assignments and projects. That's why it's very important to be together at the same campus. And I got a very good advantage being on campus to finish my projects and also assignments with my team. That's why it's very important to be connected easily to my friends as well as the tutors.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. And what I would say to those watching, that definitely kind of go on to the Kent website, because there's lots of videos about the campuses, not just in terms of showing you what the campus looks like, but it goes into a lot of information about the facilities. As Olcay has mentioned, there's lots things to see and do on campus, and all of the kind of the infrastructure is there to support students for whatever kind of course they're doing and how long they're staying, whether it's a 1-year master's or a 3-year program. So there are really good kind of videos and sort of insights, particularly from current students on there, to kind of give you an idea about what it actually means to be a student, either at the Canterbury or Medway campus. So definitely kind of have a look at that when you get a moment. So I'm going to whiz past these because so the next thing I want to talk about briefly is to talk about kind of your study options, and thinking about like what you could potentially be studying at the University of Kent. So some of you may have just been you're currently doing your high school qualification. Some of you may be soon to be completing your bachelor's there in Turkey, and you're sort of weighing up exactly what you want to do. You might even be watching this and thinking, I've still got 2 more years to go until I finish my qualification. But it's all about planning ahead and having an idea of exactly what study options are available to you. And the good news is that there's lots of things that you could do at the University of Kent. So we currently have over 400 programs available at varying different levels, from the undergraduate, which is a bachelor's, all the way through to the master's, whether that be the taught master's or the research or the PhD programs. So lots of different levels for you to choose from. We also have a number of other areas of support in terms of academic teaching. So we have foundation options both for undergrad and postgraduate programs. So if your grades are not quite do not meet the entry requirements required of your chosen course, you might want to look into doing these kind of like preparatory courses that kind of develop your academic skills, that bring you up to the sufficient level to be able to go on and complete either the UG or the PG program that you want to do. Olcay mentioned about the pre-sessional language programs, and I know that this is often quite popular for Turkish students, not only because it helps you to develop your language skills, but I think more importantly, it kind of builds up that confidence in speaking another language. It's sometimes your English may not be your first or even your second language, and if you're not using it a lot every day, these kind of pre-sessional programs can help you to build up that confidence to get familiar, and particularly in that kind of conversational level that you'll be required at the university. We also offer a medical program as well. So if you are interested in going into the medical profession, definitely look at the Kent and Medway Medical School on our website. This little screen here will give you an idea about the types of subjects that we offer. And as I said on the previous screen, these involve both undergraduate and postgraduate courses. I'm not going to go through every individual one because we only have a very limited time here today, but just to kind of give you an idea about the type of specializations that we offer at Kent. And from my experience of talking to lots of students from Turkey, I would say probably our top 3 most popular subjects for Turkish students. Business tends to do quite well in terms of it offers a lot of kind of different specializations. So you can do things like international business, maybe looking at digital marketing, business analytics. We have a fantastic MBA program or other sort of specialized programs that look at finance, accounting, looking at things like strategic project management. So if you're interested in that kind of area, definitely have a look at the Kent Business School. The second programs I want to talk about is definitely psychology. So this is something over the last couple of years, I've lost count of how many times I get asked about psychology, particularly from Turkish students, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. And I think one of the really fun things about Kent is that we offer quite a wide range of psychology programs at all levels. So we have what I call the broader standard psychology program, which covers a bit of everything, both at undergraduate and postgraduate level. But then we also offer specializations that look at things like clinical psychology, forensic psychology. I know at master's level, you can also do things like social psychology or developmental psychology. So there's lots of different areas for you to get specializations. One of the really key things and the advantages of looking at Kent for psychology as well is that many of our programs are accredited by the British Psychological Society. And so if you are looking to go into that area as a profession, having these professional accreditations will help you not just to succeed in the UK, but also when you return home to Turkey as well. They will be internationally recognized. That will help you to go ahead and secure the career that you want to do in that area. The third area that I want to focus on is probably going to be law. That tends to be very popular. Interestingly, at both bachelor's and master's programs, we offer quite a good range of specializations. So the most popular program at bachelor's tends to be the LLB program, which is a 3-year program that, again, similar to some of the other programs, they're quite broad in their approach, which is great because it's exactly what you want as an undergraduate student. The specializations tend to happen at the postgraduate level, where you can get specialized LLMs that focus on certain areas of the legal kind of aspects. So whether it's things like international commercial law, we're looking at environmental law, governance, human rights, those kind of different areas of the legal aspects, you can get a specialized LLM in. So there's lots of different areas for you to kind of get that academic experience, but also really kind of hone in and enhance your areas of interest as well during your course. Olcay, I know, obviously, for your time at Kent, how did you choose your course that you wanted to do? What kind of sort of questions did you go through in your mind?
Yeah, I would explain Emma like this way. And I was an engineer and from mechanical and industrial engineering departments from double major programs. And after that, I want to specialize in business management to go into companies. And that's why I decided to study management field and especially specializing in business management. And after that, I searched many universities in the UK. And actually, it's not easy decision to find the right place for master's degree because I was much more theoretical area for my undergraduate level, and for master level I want to get much more practical level. That's why I want to do much more practical level. That's why business management was one of them, and also industrial engineering is much more management field for engineering. That's why I chose the business management, but I consider that business management has many different modules. That's why I chose the Kent Business School actually, and they give the variety of options and also different modules. That's why through the business management, I want to specialize in much more marketing. And that's why they give the human resource management, marketing, digital marketing. And that's why I felt that the business management would be great, but also I thought that I would improve myself from different fields and economy and marketing and human resource management and with different fields. That's why I chose the business management. And also I would suggest students, and I got many questions about this issue as well, and they come from the very theoretical field and from undergraduate level, and they would like to go to the other fields as well. I didn't go I didn't go to the engineering department for master's degree. The reason why I wanted to do is because I wanted to manage something and manage processes, manage people. And that's why I thought that business management would be best. But some students, they would like to be much more theoretical and they would go to the same process with undergraduate. That's why I have many questions about this. from this question, I will give the maybe answer to for students, and they need to know how they want to shape their career after master's or undergraduate degree. It's very important to choose where they would like to be appointed. And for example, it's corporate company and any specific place. And that's why I chose business management, but also it wasn't easy to choose the right place. But after meeting with senior staff from the University of Kent at fairs, it was very important for me to choose the Kent Business School. But also, Kent Business School implemented many strategies and also new building, and that's why I was really affected their investments. That's why I chose the business management, but also the University of Kent.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things that I always stress to students, and I know you do as well, Olcay, is when you are selecting your course, obviously look at kind of your what you're in, your subjects of what you've been doing, and think about your careers, but also more importantly, choose a subject that you really enjoy, because it's a big commitment, both in terms of your time, but also resources and financially as well, when you do decide to study abroad, whether that be at your undergrad or postgraduate level. It's really important to choose a subject that you are passionate about, because it's, whether it's a 3-year program or a 1-year program, it is a long time to commit yourself to doing something that you might, if you're not quite sure about it, then that's not the course for you. So when you are looking at courses, and particularly if you're looking at courses on the Kent website, definitely kind of go into detail about the actual mechanics of the course, because what you'll find is that for a lot of UK universities, they offer very similar subject area programs, but their approach to universities can sometimes differ a lot. So our LLM program in environmental law might be slightly different to another university. So really kind of go into the detail about the course itself, identify kind of the areas that the course is offering you, and if it's exactly what you want to do, and if you're enthusiastic and passionate about those subject areas, and I would say that's 100% the right course for you. So really kind of take a little bit of time when you are conducting your research. Obviously, look at all the videos, look at all of, to chat with your friends, things like that. But definitely kind of take time to look at things yourself and figure out exactly what kind of course you want to do. Is there a particular specialization that you're interested in? And then try and find the course that will nicely match up with your interest area. One of the quick things before I move on to the entry requirements is just, as well as kind of looking at the university and looking at the courses, also bear in mind about kind of what it means to be a student in the UK, because our education system may be a little bit different to what you're used to. I know certainly for our undergraduate programs, they are usually 3 years in length, and our postgraduate masters are 1 year in length. So it might be different to many countries around the world, Turkey included. And so it's good to kind of be familiar with the education system in the UK in particular, and the different demands that doing a degree here in the UK would offer you. I think one of the biggest things that a lot of students do tell me about, particularly international students, is they find it initially quite challenging to study in the UK because the approach of the academic course is slightly different to what they're used to. Particularly for undergraduate students, often they're required to demonstrate critical thinking and have their own opinions on subjects, which they might not have been asked to do that beforehand. So really kind of, as well as researching the university, find out what it means to be a student in the UK as well. And talk to people like Olcay who have that experience and who know exactly what it means and the differences between studying in Turkey compared to studying in the UK. Olcay, what would be your top advice for students from Turkey who are looking to come to the UK for study in terms of education systems?
Yeah. Actually, it has many differences, and in Turkish education system, you need to memorize the knowledge and information. That's why it's very important to produce and to create the new information and knowledge for your career and for your research. That's why I think they need to know how to do research methods, and that's why I will suggest students to know the research methods and how they can, and they need to know the actually the differentiation between the UK education system and Turkish education system. And when we have students, we generally advise some things, but I would say that they need to read many things. In Turkish system, we memorize. That's why it's, I think, the biggest difference compared to Turkish education system. Another one is assignments and projects. And generally, we don't have this type of system in Turkey. Is much more examination, but in the UK system, and they need to show, they need to present something. That's why it's very important. They can improve maybe their presentation skills, for example, and they need to maybe build some teamwork skills, and these are very important, and it's much more individualistic in Turkish system, but UK system is much more both you need to research yourself, but also you need to create some things together through assignments. And that's why I would say that they can examine the websites of the universities and which modules they will get from which tutor, and how the modules will be assessed for students. These are very important to understand the UK education system, and also the modules as well, I would say. These are things they need to consider, I think.
Yeah, thank you very much. And it is a really important thing to know exactly what the main difference are going to be, so you can at least prepare yourself and sort of come ready to kind of meet those challenges. And generally, kind of for most students that I meet who are studying at Kent, I would say, you know, the vast majority of them really enjoy that challenge of doing something new in terms of education systems, and it builds up a lot of resilience, and it also develops key skills as well in other areas that may not have experience or developed in their previous education life. So it is a really kind of, as well as getting the academic knowledge, you get to develop lots of key skills while you're studying at Kent too. So most of our programs that you can see on the screen in front of you begin every September. So that's usually the start of the UK academic system at Kent. There are a few programs that offer a January intake. These are the January programs. The key difference is that all of these, and you will see on the screen, all of them are master's programs. So only master's programs offer 2 intakes. If you are looking for an undergraduate bachelor's, unfortunately, it's only September entry only. But for these 4 different subject areas, and particularly these specific courses, they offer both a September, but also a January start as well. So it has a little bit of flexibility. So it's something to bear in mind if you are looking for perhaps one of these subjects for your master's, just to kind of be aware of and take note that you have a bit of choice in terms of when you want to start your course. And very, very briefly, before I move on to sort of the careers bit, which is the main bit I wanted to focus on for today, just to kind of give you a quick overview about the entry requirements. So for undergraduate students, we accept both A-levels, we accept IB. If you're doing the Turkish high school diploma, then you need at least 75% or 4 out of 5 GPA to be considered for most of our undergraduate programs. For PG programs, it's a bit more straightforward. So you have to have a GPA of between 2.7 and 3 out of 4 for most of our programs. Some subjects have slightly higher requirements. Some have some subject background that you have to have. So for example, if you want to study an MSc in biomedical sciences, for example, then you would have to have either a science or an engineering related kind of subject area for your undergrad to be considered for that particular course, because it's very specialized. But for other programs such as law, business programs as well, you don't necessarily have to come from a legal or a business qualification to do those particular subjects. Definitely have a look on the website because it's got all the information on the individual course pages. Just very quickly, in terms of the English language, so all international students, when they're coming to the UK, have to have a certain level of English language proficiency and have to be able to demonstrate that through a number of different ways. Most Turkish students would do that through taking an English language test. So things like IELTS, Pearson, TOEFL, all accepted at Kent. Generally for IELTS, most programs are 6 overall with at least 5.5 in the band scores. If you are an undergraduate student who are looking to do an undergraduate course at Kent, and if you've recently graduated with either A-levels or with IB, we may be able to accept your English language qualifications if they are quite recent. And just please bear in mind that there are no language waivers for Turkish students. So unfortunately, if you have studied in English, and I know that there are many students in Turkey who go to international schools or international colleges that do their qualifications in English, that doesn't automatically guarantee you a waiver. Only academic qualifications or an English language test will do that. Very, very quickly, how much it's going to cost you to study at the University of Kent is always a very important slide. So generally our tuition fees range from 19 up to just under £25,000. The 24,700 tends to be the business programs. And the reason for that is because it is a triple crown business school. So because of the professional accreditations are offered across all of our suite of programs within the business programs area, does have that slightly higher tuition fees. On average, most of our science and technical programs tend to be around 23, and the 19 to 20 tends to be the non-technical programs. So things like politics, international relations, looking at English language, law programs tend to be at that kind of lower range of the tuition fees. The good news is we do have a number of different scholarships for Turkish students this year. Some of them are automatic, some of them are an application process. The largest one we have is the International Student Scholarship, and that's for postgraduate students, and that's worth £6,000. That one is a GPA focus. So if you have a GPA of at least, I would say 3.5 minimum, then definitely apply for that one. I believe the deadlines will be in May, June time, so it'll be coming up very soon. But if your GPA is slightly lower than that, or if you're not applying for a postgraduate program, there are other scholarships that you can apply for. We have automatic discounts for both postgraduate and undergraduate students from Turkey. So for our postgraduate taught programs, we have an automatic £2,000 discount. As long as you pay your tuition fee deposit by the 31st of July, you get £2,000 automatically off your fees. If you are looking to apply for an undergraduate course, you also get a good discount. So it would be based on £3,000 for the first year, and then you get a further £1,000 each for year 2 and year 3. With the undergraduate students scholarship, you have to have a high school diploma percentage of at least 77% overall in your year 12 diplomacy. So just to kind of bear that in mind, that one is an academic focused. But there are lots of other scholarships as well that are subject or activity specific. So definitely have a look on the Kent website for more information on that. So I really want to kind of focus on what it means what Kent offers in terms of like academics, which we've spoken about, but what it means to be a Kent student and the other benefits of choosing Kent as your choice of study destination. So we've spoken right at the beginning about the campus experience and the different opportunities and the different skills that you learn outside of the classroom. So whether that be joining one of our clubs and societies, getting involved with the sports, whether you want to play for a different sport club, or you want to go to the gym or do Pilates, whether you want to get involved with the more creative programs, looking at maybe like the music society or the arts and drama club, or whether it's just socializing in one of the many kind of outlets that we have on campus as well. So there are lots of opportunities to kind of develop these kind of areas outside of your academic studies. So it's always worth getting involved as much as you can. So the most important part that I wanted to focus on toward the end is what it means to be a student at Kent, in particularly focusing on your career. And because we know that, whether you're doing an undergraduate or a postgraduate qualification, the most important thing you are making that decision on is, will I get a job at the end of my degree? That's often kind of like the second question that we get asked. Do you offer this course? Will I get a job at the end of it? And that's a really important part of your decision-making process. You need to select a university that will help you not only to develop academically, but also help you and give you those skills you need to go on to succeed in whatever kind of job that you want to do. And Kent will certainly help you to do that. So we have lots of different ways that we develop and enhance students' career and employability skills. One of the key areas that we do that is through our academic programs. So whether that's developing transferable skills such as problem solving, communication, time management, critical thinking, all of these key skills you'll develop whatever program that you do at Kent. The other thing to look at as well is maybe identifying those courses that offer professional accreditations. So programs such as business, biosciences, psychology, and many more offer professional accreditations. So it's a really good way of getting that professional kind of qualification as well as an academic qualification at exactly the same time. And the other important thing about the accreditations is they're often, very, very highly recognized within those industries. So if you're going to apply for jobs in a certain industry, you go there with a really strong degree from a top ranked university in the UK, but you also have a degree that's accredited by a professional body that's internationally recognized. So it helps in terms of your career prospects when you have those two things on your CV. There are a number of different ways that we also enhance a student's employability outside of their academic studies. So whether that's things such as placement programs, looking at career fairs, working with the job shop. Olcay, during your time, did you get involved with the sort of the careers advisory service when you were at Kent?
Yes, Emma. Actually, I benefit a lot and career service. And also, I would say that from Kent Business School and Innovation Center as well, I got many advices from my tutors, but especially from career and employability skills. I attended many different conferences and events. And also, when I was a student, we would collect some points and we would use these points for internship as well. I'm not sure whether it's still going on, but it was fantastic. And also, I attended many different career pathway programs at the University of Kent. But I would say, for example, when I wrote essay, and I gave these essays to career employability services, and they would give some advice as well for my English levels, for example, and how I can use this level, and also how I can paraphrase this type of things. And that's why it's very important that to use this type of career employability skills, and also through mentoring skills as well. Especially for my education as well. If I got any idea about creation, any brand and other things, I would as easily, and that's why I got many things. For example, if I would like to have any idea and they advise me, for example, how I can put this market with this price and position, etc. That's why I got many experiences from there. But I didn't have any chance to use these points and career employability points in different ones, but for undergraduate students it was very important actually. But for master students, and I didn't use, but many of my friends, they used these points for getting internship.
And I guess one of the key aspects of all of the initiatives that you spoke about is they're available for both home students and international students. And we make no distinction between the two groups of students. So if you are a student from Turkey, you can get involved with all of these initiatives. And it's not just focused on, supporting UK students to get a job here in the UK. You can use a lot of the skills and the knowledge you gain from whatever initiative that you do. So when you do return home, you have those kind of things already in mind. You have that knowledge already there, and you can use that to your benefit. So when you're looking for jobs back in Turkey, you can use your interview skills workshop and put it into practice after you've done your degree. And I think particularly for international students, I think that's often one of the key aspects is, will I get support when it comes to looking for jobs? And one of the other things that we get asked a lot about is working both during your studies and after your studies. And so for a lot of students, I think particularly kind of undergraduate students, because they're here for a longer time, working during their study tends to be a little bit easier because they're here for 3 years. They tend to have a more kind of, spread out program over those 3 years. So they have a little bit more time to be able to work while they're studying. Master students do work while they study as well. So depending on your program and your availability, you may be able to find a job that will complement your studies and allow you to do both at the same time. The one thing I would say in terms for master students, because it's a very condensed 1 year program, it's important obviously to kind of make sure that you kind of spend enough time on your studies, because that's the main reason why you're here. And the main reason that you're doing the degree is obviously to get that academic background, the academic knowledge, but you can work while you're studying as well, which is good. Olcay, did you work whilst you were studying?
Actually, I don't have a chance to work because I want to get much more research based and to give the ideas. But I got only one day I worked in a coffee shop, and my friends were working in coffee shops and other places. But I would say from my experiences from my friends as well, I had a small time to find a job, but after that I wanted to improve my GPA and also get some ideas at the University of Kent because I was supported a lot with my ideas. But I would say from my friends, and they found jobs and they shared many CVs, and through the physically and as well as the through Indeed.co UK and the other platforms actually. And in Canterbury, they can find a job actually, the students, because some coffees and restaurants, and they like to find the part-time jobs. That's why I would say that it's not very difficult, but the students, they need to share their CVs and backgrounds to many places, I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. And you took the words right out of my mouth. I mean, a lot of students do work in Canterbury area. If you're in the Medway campus, there's lots of the Medway towns that support students in terms of job opportunities. And going back to right at the beginning when we spoke about our close proximity to London as well, I know a lot of students do work in London whilst they're studying. But one of the key things to think about when you are selecting your course in particular, definitely have a look out for those courses that offer a year in industry or a placement year, because that's a really good opportunity to get work experience as part of the course that you want to study. So if you are looking to do digital marketing and analytics, for example, as a postgraduate program, you can do a 1 year there, or you can do a 1 year of study plus a 1 year of a work placement. And the key kind of benefits of doing a work placement is that it is a full-time position. So it'll be a full 12 months contracted job. It will be a graduate level job. So you won't be going in there at the entry level. You'll actually be doing a job that most people with a graduate qualification will do. And as well, you get to work in an international kind of company in the UK. You get to choose where you want to work as well. And more importantly, you get to earn a wage. These are not internships, so they are not kind of voluntary. You will earn a wage. And so you'll earn a good salary based kind of on the industry that you choose to work in. So when you are thinking about your courses, definitely have a look at those ones that offer the year in industry, because it's a really good opportunity. And the other benefit of doing that is that if you do choose a course with a year in industry, it will be built into your visa. So if you choose a 1 year master's, you'll get a 2 year CAS to cover both your study year and your work placement year. And then after that, you can then apply for the UK graduate visa, which will then give you a further 2 years in the UK to work. So it's a lot of opportunities to get that work experience in the UK. And we all know for many sectors around the world, employers are looking for people who have that international experience. So the more you can get from your time in the UK, both academically, but also on the work side, will definitely help you in terms of your future career. The final thing I wanted to talk about, because I'm conscious there are a few questions in the box that I wanted to get to before we finish for today, when it moves on. There we go. Move on. There we go. Final slide. So we've spoken very briefly about the careers advisory service, but it's good just to kind of summarize exactly how they will support you in terms of careers, both during your studies, but also after your studies as well. So the key thing to remember is even after you've graduated, you can still use the careers advisory service for looking for jobs, once you have finished at Kent. There's lots of different ways they help you, both in terms of practically looking for a job, but also developing those key skills, as Olcay and I have both mentioned previously. The other thing I wanted to highlight on this slide, which is definitely really important, is to give you an idea about the types of careers the Kent students or Kent graduates have gone into. So you can see many on this list, there are many kind of multinational companies in varying different areas. So whether it's kind of the banking sector, whether it's kind of in hospitality and entertainment, whether it's in kind of like engineering, whatever that kind of sectors you're interested in. You know, a lot of Kent graduates get jobs, very high, you know, very, very prominent positions in these kind of industries and these kind of organizations. So my final bit of a message from me before we hand over to the questions is, you know, the studying at Kent is not just about getting an academic qualification. It's about giving you these opportunities to go on and develop both professionally, but also you as a person as well. And it's a really good opportunity to kind of see where it can take you in terms of your future careers. And finally, just to leave you with my contact details when the slide moves. There we go. So that's my email address. So I'm based in the UK. I usually come to Turkey sort of 2, maybe 3 times a year. So definitely please do reach out to me. My email is on the screen, and Olcay hopefully can leave his contact details in the chat as well. So I work really closely with Olcay on supporting students to come to Kent, and he can provide you not only his personal insight into studying at Kent, but also give you that practical kind of advice on the process you have to follow when you are applying to the University of Kent. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to try and stop sharing my screen if I can. Oh, no. Maybe Zainab will have to do this. Ah, there we go. Perfect. All done. What we'll do, we'll go to the question. I'm conscious we've got 4 minutes. And so we will quickly whiz through these. Okay, so I think, Olcay, I might ask you the first couple of questions, if that's okay. So the first one we have in there is, what are some of the existing challenges that students face at the university?
Yeah, I will say it will be a bit difficult when they arrive first. And I will say I got a big challenge when I was in UK, especially for first 1 and 2 months. It wasn't easy to find friends because it's very new environment, and it's not easy to find local people and to meet with local people. That's why you need to meet with other foreign people. That's why it's very important to become entrepreneur, maybe, and entrepreneur feelings. It's very important. And I got a bit difficulties to find many people for friendship, but especially for precision course, it was easy process for me to adapt master's degree for me. That's why I was a bit lucky, I would say. But another one is different culture compared to Turkey, and you need to solve all problems. And when I was in Turkey, I would solve my problems not only from myself, from my family as well. They will help me. But in the UK, you have to solve all your problems yourself. This is very important. This is the challenging part, I would say. And when for example, enter your room and you need to cook yourself, and you need to go anything, and you need to do everything yourself. You need to sort out everything. That's why it's very important. That's why I would say maybe they can be prepared from Turkey, and for example, how to iron, for example, like this way. It's very important how to cook, and that's why they cannot eat outside always. That's why this type of things, actually different cultures, I would say. But after 2 months, it's getting very easy. It's very nice.
I mean, I have to say, I don't think it's just for people from Turkey. So when I went to university, I couldn't use a washing machine. So it's definitely these kind of life skills that you gain very quickly, because needs must, you have to kind of adapt very quickly. So the next question I'm going to combine into 2. So I think I can answer the next question. So the first one is about the student population. So I would say on average, we get around 16,000 students a year across both the campuses at Kent. And of that, I would say around kind of between 2,000 to 3,000 students are international students. And then within that, last year we had around 33 students from Turkey. So it's a good number of students from Turkey. And the good thing is there's a really good mix of both undergrad and postgrad studying a wide range of subject areas. So you will not be the only person from Istanbul or from Ankara or Izmir or wherever you're from in Turkey. There'll be guaranteed to be somebody else that you'll know, and you'll be able to make friends very, very quickly that way. And the second question is about kind of the universities and integrating kind of practical experience into the curriculum. So it all depends on the course that you're doing, really. So for some of those more kind of practical courses, like say sciences, for example, there is a really good mix of theoretical and practical elements. So for example, if you're doing biomedical sciences, you'll be spending a long time in the lab doing kind of practical experience and that kind of stuff. If you're not selecting a practical course, so if you want to do a business program, for example, that's where these initiatives such as internships or the year in industry will take forward, because it means you get that experience on a practical level outside of your academic system. With the year in industry, it happens after you're studying for, so if you're doing a 1-year master's, you'll do the 1 year and then you'll do the year in industry after it, all part of the curriculum. If you do a year in industry, you will be required to provide regular reports to the university on how you're progressing. So it does form part of the master's qualification that you will achieve. If you're doing an undergraduate program, then the year in industry will be embedded in the middle. So you'll do 2 years of academic study, 1 year of work, and then you'll return back to the university to complete the degree. So the next question, I'm going to whiz through some of these. I'm just conscious of time. I don't want to keep everybody too late. The next question is asked if there's a chance that you can change your department if you're having troubles, or if you just maybe just want to change your mind, it's not quite right for you. The short answer is yes. You can switch kind of courses. The biggest advice I would give you is do not leave it too late to change. Generally, some students who are in that position who are not quite happy with the course, they want to do a different specialization, they generally change within the first few weeks of starting the course. It's relatively straightforward to change courses during the first term. If you're in the second, third term, it becomes harder to switch courses because you've missed quite a lot from the new course. So if after the first year you've decided to go from business to sciences, you might have to go back to the beginning and start again at year 1 in your new course. So just to kind of bear that in mind, really, that if you're not quite happy, the key thing is to try and do it as early as possible. So the next question, if I move down the list, can you please provide admission statistics for computing engineering science bachelors? How many seats were available for international students and how many applications there are in total? Wow, okay. I didn't prepare the stats question in that level of detail, so I don't know if I'm talking off the top of my head exactly what the numbers are, but I can give you a rough indication. So generally for computing and sciences, engineering programs, they generally are quite popular, not just for Turkish students, but for a lot of international students globally. We probably, in terms of seats, I think most courses range from 30 places up to maybe 120, 130, depending on which course you select. So generally speaking, availability of places on these kind of very popular courses are generally not an issue. If you're looking to apply for, I don't know, artificial intelligence course, generally I would say kind of it probably goes to around sort of 50 to 60 places in total. So it's a good number of places available. We don't have any quotas for international students. The only program that there is a slight restriction is the MBA program, where you can only have a certain number of students from each country because of the accreditation that it comes with. But for the programs that you listed, computing, engineering, sciences, there's no quotas on international. So if we get 100 students from Turkey studying on the computer engineering programs, then that's fantastic. That's absolutely not an issue. You know, the more the merrier, basically, on those courses. The next question, LJ, maybe you can pick up. So what are the job opportunities? Can you both study and work? I know we talked about that briefly in the session, but maybe you want to talk about the sort of the job opportunities quickly around Canterbury?
Yeah, and I will say, and during the studyings, and they can apply for different jobs, and not only restaurants and cafes, but also if they feel that they are very confident with their fields, they can apply to the proper majors as well. But it's not easy during the studies, I will say. But for my students, I will say before they get diploma as well, some of my students, they got to offer from London and from different cities. And for example, one of my students from architecture department, and she got the offer from different companies located in London before she graduates, because she got fantastic portfolio, and Kent is very well known for architecture, for example. These are very important, but she shared many CV, but also she observed. That's why I would say for this question, it's very important for students to apply to different jobs, but it is a variety of jobs, I would say, and it's student environment. And yeah, that's why I would say it's not very difficult, but the students need to share. And also, I would suggest to students, and it is a job shop on campus, they have a lot of students. I also got some benefits from there, and also they shared every week and different offers to students they can apply through.
And absolutely, I would echo that. I think the Jobs Hub is a fantastic resource for students to look at, both in terms of like searching databases, but also getting advice about how to look for jobs, maybe getting some advice on your CV or your cover letter. You can get that kind of specialized kind of support when you're looking at that too. So definitely check that one out when you do come to Kent. The next question is about lectures. Are they compulsory? Yes. Yes, I know whatever degree you do, and you have to attend lectures. So in the UK, our kind of sort of degrees are a combination of lectures, seminars, as well as other activities. So we mentioned the presentation about assignments and doing group work and group presentations and doing independent reading as well. So there are a number of things that you will have to do if you're studying at Kent, whether it's an undergraduate or a postgraduate program. So yeah, compulsory lectures are one of them. The good thing is that for most programs, students generally have to be on campus, no more than sort of 3 or 4 days a week. It all depends on the modules that you select, how often you'll be on campus. But not very many programs require students to be on campus 5 days a week for the full 52 weeks a year. So you will get some time away from campus, but bear in mind that time will be spent either reading in the library or doing assignments, or if you're lucky enough to get jobs as well, you might have time to do that during the week too. So yeah, absolutely. The next question, IB entry requirements. Yeah, so good question. So usually our IB offer ranges between kind of 30 to 34 points overall. We kind of give guidance in terms of, like, I know some subjects have slightly higher requirements in certain subjects. So for example, if you want to do sciences, you might have to have a higher level science, for example. If you want to study the English literature program, you will definitely have to have a higher level English as a subject sort of specialization. But generally, kind of the overall is between 30 to 34 points for most of our courses. And the final question, I'm going to hand over to you, Olcay, because this is your area of expertise. How is the application and admissions process? Could you give me some advice? This is your job.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say this one as an education consultant. And I would say it's very important process. And also I would suggest students to apply as much as they can apply soon. And for example, CV is very important, and creating very good CV and personal statement. And we advise students how to create CV and also personal statement. I don't want to give them many details about this, but it takes time. And also you need to share your experiences and backgrounds in very short and also a very effective way. That's why we work on it a lot. And also getting references are important, and we suggest students to get at least 2 academic references. But if they have any experiences, and they can share the other not only academic reference but also the practical references from sectors. And also we can suggest the good GPA, and they can get the offer with good GPA, and also the IELTS requirements, and it's not obligatory for the admission process firstly and getting offer, but also after they get offer, they need to give the IELTS, TOEFL, or other examinations. And I will say, and we have students with these methods, and diploma and where they graduate from is very important as well. And if they are coming from the good universities or high schools, it impacts the university's decision sometimes. That's why we suggest to create very good portfolio for students. And when we get the all documents, we apply, and we have agency portal, and we have our students to apply on behalf of them. And after admission process, and we have done for accommodation, because accommodation is very important process. And when they get offer, and we choose whether we will accept this university or not. If we think that we will accept this university, we need to pay deposit payment to secure our place. This is very important. That's why to get offer is important, but also to secure your place with deposit payments are very important. And many of our students now pay the deposit payments and will pay, and after the payments and or before payments, and they need to apply the accommodations are very important. And we help our students to create all documents, and it's very important. And sometimes in one sentence, and Emma, you mentioned in the previous webinars and how to write a personal statement, how to write things. It was very beneficial, I think, and that's why we generally utilize these experiences for our students, how to write personal statement. And sometimes our students have a problem with ChatGPT, and they do other things, and that's why the universities will detect easily. That's why I would like to suggest to get your own words, and also the working with an education consultant to get the offer, and also, if possible, the scholarships as well. Yes, these are very important processes.
I couldn't have said it better myself. So it was
it takes time. It takes time. Not only in 1 week or 2 weeks. It takes time. But we can help with all procedures. That's why I wrote my email address as well if the students need anything, and we are very happy to help. But it's very important process, and I would suggest students not to get late for admission process. This is very important, and also accommodation as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just to sort of add to that, if I can, I think that the most important thing you said, that there was, don't leave things too late. I mean, if you're still kind of debating about studying, starting this September, you have time. You haven't left it late, definitely, but don't leave it too much later before you start doing things, because things like getting all your documentation together can take a little while. Sorting out references, writing your personal statement can take a while. But also things like doing your English language test, that also is more delays in terms of like the time it takes to do it. And so you need to make sure that you give yourself sufficient time to do your research, get your application in, get all your documentation, and then you begin the final stages of coming to the UK. So it's not a quick process, but if you haven't still decided about what you want to do this September, you have time to do it. And hopefully today's session has been useful and informative to give you an idea about kind of the University of Kent, what we offer, and sort of the process that you have to go through to come to study with us. Before I finish for the session, Olcay, is there any kind of like leaving remarks you'd like to say?
Yeah, and thanks so much for the invitation, Emma. Hopefully it was beneficial for students. And I will say, if the students need anything, I'm happy to help. And hopefully the students found useful our webinar. And thanks so much for your sharing the information. And it was very valuable for us and for students.
Yes, thank you very much for the great presentation, Emma and Olcay. It was a very informative session for the attendees, and you covered all of the questions. Thank you for your answers as well.
All right.
And also I would like to thank the participants in Turkish too. Katıldığınız için teşekkür ederiz arkadaşlar. Umarım sizin için de faydalı bir webinar olmuştur. University of Kent ile ilgili diğer sorularınız için chat kısmında paylaşılmış olan mail adresinden Olcay Bey ve Emma'ya ulaşabilirsiniz. Bir sonraki webinarlarımızda görüşmek üzere. Thank you very much again, you guys. It was a pleasure to have you in IEFTalks.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.